Wayne County wants to help you grow your business. The county's Economic Development Corporation and Business Resource Network are hosting an event to provide information to business owners who want to locate or expand in Wayne County. Attendees can network with county businesses, learn about financing options, and get help recruiting and training employees. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans is going to deliver the keynote address. Here to tell us more is Wayne County's Director of Economic Development, Khalil Rahal, and the event's MC, Mark Lee, President of the Lee Group. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so great idea. We need more businesses in Wayne County. We need to grow businesses in Wayne County. Let's get everybody together and talk about how that can work.
That's right. I mean, this is really rooted in the county executive's philosophy of giving back to small businesses. You know, small businesses are the backbone of our economy. We have 43 municipalities in Wayne County, and small businesses tend to add to the flavor of each individual community, right? They're oftentimes from that community or inherited the business and grew up in that community, and they're likely to give back or take care of their neighborhood. And so the idea was, you know, why can't we get them all into a room and provide them with a lot of access to a lot of free resources that they may not know that exist to help their business stay healthy, grow, and expand. And that's what the event's really all about.
Talk about some of the things that the county does to help businesses start up in Wayne County or grow.
Yeah, so we have services internally at the county, services that'll help you with permitting or health choice or site selection. We also have a lot of partners that we work with on the outside that'll help you with financing, marketing, import, export advice, or maybe sometimes the best advice is to say, you know, maybe that's not the right idea. And so I think that can go a long way with businesses. The best part about this, I think, is this advice is free.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes these resources are, you know, available to the bigger companies, right? And a lot of people don't think about a lot of the smaller companies that really fuel our economy.
Yeah. Mark, most of your work is focusing on small businesses, helping people get started. Talk about what that looks like right now in Wayne County.
Yeah, excuse me, I think, again, thank you very much. Wayne County is hot right now. And I'd like to tell the story that the city of Detroit itself has over 62,000 small businesses, according to the 2012 U.S. Census data. And the challenge is, and we have so many businesses are opening up daily, weekly, monthly in the city, but it becomes, and across the county as well, the challenge becomes how do we get them to focus on business sustainability? Give them the resources, so access to capital, networking opportunities, to help them to focus on business sustainability. So I think as we continue to grow, the challenge becomes, do they have access to all these resources to focus on growth?
Yeah, talk about some of the challenges that you hear small business owners talk about in Wayne County right now.
I still think the #1 challenge is access to capital.
Yeah.
It's
Money.
Can you give me the money, please? Right. But what people don't realize is that you do have access to capital through traditional and non-traditional means of financing. #2, what's becoming interesting, Stephen, is that talent attraction is now becoming a challenge because certainly the economy is doing a bit better, and people are competing against the bigger companies for that particular capital base as well.
Talk about how you balance these concerns at the county level. The county also is involved with trying to attract big businesses to make large investments in the county. How do you prioritize, I guess, this versus that?
No, I think that's a great question. I think first and foremost, the county executive has made it very, very clear. We are going to focus our economic development efforts on businesses here that are already at home, and we're going to help those businesses grow.
Economic gardening is what the governor used to call that, right?
Sometimes it's called blocking and tackling.
Right.
And so that's going to be our main focus. But to your point, the county is actually involved in a lot of big projects. We're building a criminal justice complex. We're involved in the Hudson's and Monroe block and the train station and McLeod Steel and Eloise and all the things in Aerotropolis. And so this is a little bit different, this event this year than we have in the last 2 years. The one big difference about this event is that we're asking those partners of ours, the ones that were in those bigger developments, to have a seat at the table at this event, to interact with smaller companies to see if they can be a part of those procurement processes. And I think that's going to be a help of balancing, as you mentioned, right? Because you need both. You can't have your philosophy rooted all in one and then not pay attention to the other, right? You have to kind of guard your flank everywhere. So.
It's also really important to do this, I feel like, right now, given the excitement that Mark talks about with investment in the city of Detroit, investment in Wayne County. It's not going to be like that forever. I feel like we got to take advantage of all of this activity and interest and make sure that we lift up people who wouldn't naturally, I guess, get fortified by all of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The country hasn't seen a 10-year uptick in the economy like this in its history.
Right.
Usually the economy works on 7-year cycles, and so people predict that eventually things will slow down.
It's got to cool off someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody knows when, nobody knows how. It's always the $40 million question, right? But what we think will happen is we think there'll be a soft landing. We think that gardening our sort of small business resource efforts, right, to make sure small businesses have a place to fall back on, because access to capital is a problem. But we look at this event in 3 different ways. You know, how do we lower your overhead? How do you help get financing? And how do we help grow your business? How do we find you a bigger customer base? And that's part of the procurement with, you know, having the Bedrocks and the Fords at the table to have a table there to find out, you know, what opportunities may exist.
Yeah.
We have a ton of financing space at this event, and anywhere from, you know, the Fifth Third banks and PNCs to microloans. You know, some people can't get a loan for $1,500, $2,000, $2,500.
Right,
And that's
right.
a problem,
Yeah.
right? And then the overhead costs. We have a lot of grant availabilities. We have a lot of workforce development programs. We have DESC and SEMCA at the table to help you. And we've got a lot of governments at the table too. So, I mean, I think the program is growing and it's doing very, very well.
And I think that's why this program is important. Number one, and I think Khalil is absolutely spot on, this is free.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many programs out in the city right now, but this program is free. How many times can you go to a free event and get access?
Get this kind of information.
Get all this information, network and meet other people. But I want to go back to your point too about Detroit is hot under the spotlight. How long will this last? We're starting to see the spotlight shift to other cities across the country.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that we need to continue to capitalize on the hotness of this city, the hipness of this city when it comes to entrepreneurship, before that spotlight continues to slowly shift into other geographic regions across the country.
Yeah. Growth, I feel like, is a different subject from establishment for businesses, right? What's the right time to decide that you should be bigger? How do you get the resources to do it? And then how do you do it in a way that it doesn't just completely plow the whole business under? How much focus do you think we need on that right now in Detroit and Wayne County, given all of the new economic activity that's happening?
I think we need to continue to focus on helping these businesses grow profitably, focus on, again, business sustainability, and ensure that these businesses have the appropriate plan on one hand. And then, you know, Wayne County, as Khalil knows, many people want to open a business here. Do they have the proper training and support to make that happen as well?
Yeah, I think you pose a really good question. And the question really comes down to, what's your horizon?
Right.
I mean, the horizon for Dan Gilbert is much further away than
looks a
a
little
new
different.
business. Right? And so the nice thing about this is we have an organization called the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. They are housed right in the Guardian Building with Wayne County. They work with our folks, and their purpose is to provide you this sort of advice. They take a look at, you know, not just your finances, but your ideas, your philosophies, your customer base, and they try to do the best that they can to provide you free access to this kind of information, so you don't overextend yourself, or that you're taking the right risk. And measuring that is the key to really growing your business.
Yeah, it is. You mentioned the involvement of DESC.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the employment picture and how it relates to this whole small business question.
Well, I mean, you know, talent is going to be king. It's going to be everything from small businesses to big businesses. There's no difference about that. Employment's going to be huge. You know, we have seen our employment numbers in Wayne County jump dramatically over the last few years, particularly since the county executive has been in office. We've seen jobs, investments, medium home incomes, construction permits. We issue construction permits. You should see the number of construction permits that are going up there. You know, when we came into office in 2015, we had to fix the finances. We had to fix the jail.
We were almost
right?
bankrupt. People forget that.
People forget that. But the nice thing is today we're working on a new problem, in that we have so much construction going on, we have a shortage of a workforce.
Yes.
And that is going to raise the cost of some of these things. You know, people look at Hudson's and Monroe Block. I will tell you, average rent rolls in downtown Detroit is anywhere between $22, $24 a square foot, give or take. Average rent rolls in your Bostons or your Chicagos are $45 a square foot, but it costs the same to build a building in Chicago or Boston as it does in Detroit.
So your return is smaller.
Your return is smaller, and that's because we have a shortage of the workforce. You either got to fly people in or you got to train them up. And I think the great thing about this program is we have folks like DESC and SEMCA and other Michigan Works agencies at the table that can try to help small businesses either provide them with grants or provide them with applications.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations on the event and the work, and thanks for being here.
Great, thank you. One last thing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
October 25th.
Yes.
8:30 to 11.
All right.
At 21,000, the Wayne County Community College in the city of Taylor. We've got 500 attendees, or 500 people
Already
registered
insane.
for this
Yeah.
event.
And we'll put all that info on our website.
Thank you.
Too, so. All right. Thanks for being here.